Hello guys, and today we have here another very awesome deck profile. We have here some of my deck. One of the decks I'm playing this format is, I call this Stun.dek, and it's a really fun, really great deck. It's pretty much just a traptrix hand deck without, it's pretty much hat without artifact, and it's just pretty much, the way this deck plays is you want to open up with one monster and then 4 back row. And so let's start off. We have here the hands. 3 fire hand and 3 ice hand, and just really great just to pop stuff and get remove stuff, and it's just another stun card that's really good. Besides that, the one Thunder King, pretty much a floodgate. He's a mistake, he's a black corner heaven, he's whatever you want. And then traptrix Diona and Mamilio. When I say one monster, you want Mamilio, but you would if you open up with Mamilio, you would want to open up with another monster, because Mamilio will be that 4th trap card. She will search out a trap card, and then you have 3 in hand, and so boom, now you have 4 traps and then 1 monster in your hand. So Mamilio is just great, being a trap card in herself pretty much. And for targets for Mamilio, we have here the traptrix, Trapple Nightmare, the Time Space, and the Bottomless. And those are all the monsters that I play actually, so you definitely need to open up with a monster, but sometimes you open up with nothing but traps, which isn't the worst thing in the world. And so if you are going first, you have no clue what you're playing, you search out Bottomless. If you know what you're playing, you search out one of those 2. And those cards will be sighted out depending on what you're facing. And then we're playing all the one-of traps, the Torrential, the Warning, the Vandies, and the Ring, and the Compulse. Ring and Compulse, best trap cards this format because they can be activated whenever, and then Warning would be the next. And then extra traps would be Deep Prison and Mule Force. You want to have a variety of stuff, and Deep Prison being able to banish is really good. So you want to have a huge variety of stuff, so that way you're prepared for whatever. You don't want to lose out because of a normal summon, whatever that normal summon might be. Along with that, final traps, the Mind Crush. This is just great to have because pretty much everything search this format, or something activates in hand, so just being able to call it is really good. And then Call the Haunted itself is great just to bring back a monster. The traptrix get effect is a special. Mamilio will pop a card, and Diona will set a trap hole from, will set a trap hole card from your graveyard to your side of the field, and then Fire and Ice Hand. For spell cards, these are our Denko outs, Rogeki and Book of Moon. And Book of Moon is really good. These are also really good cards to mess around with your opponent with. Playing the mind game is really important with this deck. Just setting more trap cards than you actually have, like setting this card face down. It won't do anything, but you have it face down, so that way it makes it look like you have 4 face down cards. But you have to be careful because you don't want to lose your Denko out. This is another great card to set if you have open up with both of these. And we only run 2 because I didn't want to sacrifice too much room. It was pretty much either 3 dualities or Book of Moon, and I wanted the Denko out. And so duality, it's okay too if you open up with 1, you just set 1 so that way you can play the mind game and then activate it next turn. It doesn't really matter. You don't do too much spell summoning, but you do enough where it can be a deck card. And then for cards that aren't dead, Upstart, when it comes to Upstart, and might as well show Chicken Game, Upstart just lets you mess around with life, so that way you take no damage. And so Upstart was just, when it comes to these cards, you want to do as much deck cleaning as first, and then do stuff. And pretty much when it comes to Fire and Ice Hand, because you will draw into multiple copies sometimes, in some games, you just want to attack first, especially with Chicken Game. If you have Chicken Game out, then you won't take any damage, so you want to do what you can with Fire and Ice Hand, and then use these guys. And then just set whatever you want. But Chicken Game is definitely worth playing because you don't draw into too many Fire and Ice Hands. Like most of the time you will draw into another trap card or some other spell card or something. And then you can, or another monster. And it just helps because like if you do open up with an optimal hand and you have 4 back row and Mamilio out, and your opponent makes a play and you get rid of 3 of your back row and you only have 1 left, getting 2 cards during your turn is good. Just your normal draw and then Chicken Game will just help out so much because then you have 2 trap cards, 2 more trap cards, or 2 more cards just to play with, so that way you have more resources. Because sometimes it may take 2 turns to get rid of all of your back row, but then if they have anything after that, it can be really deadly. So Chicken Game just helps with making it so you don't die during your opponent's 3rd turn or something. And that is it for the main deck. It's pretty much just, again, as it said, it's just summon a monster and set 4. And Mamilio is probably the best monster to open up with because she's a monster and a trap, so that way you can get out, have maybe even 5 trap cards. But for the extra deck, Excited Knight because it's a Sky Knight. Darkly Bound Dragon's probably one of the best ones in the deck because he runs over Unicorn, and he's just great at having stuff and just being able to attack the game. Because sometimes with chicken game, you might have just maybe you upstart, or maybe you gave your opponent 2 upstarts. They've been paying chicken game, they've been using chicken game, and then it gets down to whether at 2000 Dark Rebellion game. 101, of course. 80's great this format, just knowing when to do it. Maestro, I want to replace Maestro with 102 Giant Hand. That would probably be better, but for now, Maestro does well. Crazy Box, Black Ship, Abyss Dweller, Cowboy, Samurai, and then Ragnar Zero. Samurai is really good because it's like 38 damage is what it can do, attack twice, and so it can do a lot. Besides that, I'd 101 Battaliamos and Pleiades, and like I said, 102 Giant Hand, and just good XYZs. And for the side deck, this is where you'll see a lot of the floodgates. We have the 3rd copy of Nightmare and the 3rd copy of Time Space. You just need to know what you're facing. When it comes to Necros, this is a great card to stop Trishulas, so it would probably be best to side this in. But it's easy to prevent Trishula in this deck just by setting your entire hand. So this deck can make Trishula dead if you don't open up with too many monsters. If you open up with too many monsters, like, you're kind of screwed anyways. So these cards work both well against Necros. This is dead against Cleese. You just need to know what you're facing. So this deck really depends on what you're knowing what your deck is, what you're facing. This needs to be another anti-spell fragrance, but in lieu of that, summon limit works just as well. It just makes it so both players can only summon twice. An anti-spell fragrance prevents Denko. It kills Denko because now they can't, even if they summon Urge, it won't do anything. Or if they do summon Urge, then Necros can't play any of their spell cards. And then it'll slow down the game. Besides that, 2 mistakes. Just, you don't want to run 3 because then it'll conflict with Mind Crush. 2 Shadow Imprisonment for BA and Shadows, and then Pulling the Rug is for Tellarknights, but I want to replace this with Light Imprisoning Mail. Pulling the Rug is when your opponent normal summons a monster and it activates its effect on its normal summon, you can negate it. So you could negate Manju with this card, but I wouldn't recommend siding it against a Necro. And then for the Klee Hate, we have the Shadow Imprisonment there, 2 MSTs, and then Dark Hole's just in here. I want to replace this with another Spell Shattering Arrow. We want Spell Shattering instead of Fairy Wind because you don't want to destroy your own cards, such as your chicken games. And sometimes that has killed people. Like, they just side in Fairy Wind against my deck, and then they kill chicken game, and then I attack for game. But Spell Shattering Arrow would destroy your opponent's stuff, inflicts 500 if they can take damage, and then boom, that is that. And then MSTs are MSTs. If you side those in, if you're facing decks that also have a lot of backrow, that can be very painful. And that is the deck. It's a very fun deck, very great deck. It does better than what most people would think. Like I went with this deck and I got 2-3. I went 2 and 3. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys later. Bye.